Welcome back everyone to 3D modeling a Hobbit Door scene with Blender 2.9 and Adobe Photoshop. And this is where we left it off. Now we're going to work on our arch and our door next, but first of all, let's just take a quick look at our shading panel. So if we go to shading, one thing I need to explain is the maps. So if we come to the first map, I'm also going to put a description down the bottom right hand side for you to see exactly what they do. So the first one you notice that we brought in is the base color, and this is what it says on the tin. It's basically the color of the wood, all the little grains and things like that, and then it plugs into the base color of the principle. Next one down is the metallic, and normally with metallic it either is metallic or it isn't metallic. There isn't really anything in between. So when you actually use metallic, either put it on 1 or 0 depending on if you want it to be metal or not. Next one down is roughness, and this is basically if you think of a window and you think of all the grime and things like that, it interacts with the light. So you'll have light bouncing off it, the light will be duller in certain places, and it'll shine a lot clearer if the glass is clean, for instance. And that is basically what the roughness map controls. Next one down we have the normal map, and the normal map is basically all of these bumps that you see on here or on this metal. It basically controls how much of a 3D look the actual texture will have, and you can actually bring that out so much that it actually looks kind of ridiculous in some ways. So you just need to be take your time and have a look and make sure that it's controlled correctly and make sure that it's just not set too high. Next one down is displacement, and displacement basically is used for if you want to bring in some extra height or extra detail. There is something called tessellation, which you're welcome to look up, and using tessellation you really expand how 3D an actual texture looks. So it's basically similar to the normal map, except it's a lot more refined and it's only used in kind of specialized circumstances. Okay, so with all that done, let's now head on back over to modeling. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a cylinder. So first of all though, let's put this right in the middle. So what I want to do is I want to join this and this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the metal, click the glass, press Ctrl J. I'm going to come over to my little triangle because you notice now it's actually gone a bit funky, and that is because the auto smooth has been turned off. And now finally I'm going to join the glass with the wood, pressing Ctrl J, and you can see there that it's gone like this. Again, what we need to do to actually fix that is just press Ctrl Z, grab the wood first, then the glass, then press Ctrl J, and now you'll notice it goes together really nicely. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So what I need to do now is put this in the center, and that's going to make it much easier to actually work with. So let's press Shift S, cursor to world origin, and then now we need to move this. So if we press Shift S again, and you'll notice you've got one here saying selection to cursor. Click that on, and now you'll see it drops right in the middle. Now, I'm not sure about scaling at the moment. I think we should be okay keeping it at this scale. The one thing I do need to do though is actually bring it up. So I'm going to bring it up like that. I'm going to move the cube behind it just so I've got a reference to actually see behind, and that'll be handy up until near the end. I'm going to move it a little bit closer as well. Okay, so now let's bring in the actual door frame in. So what we're going to do is bring in a primitive. So Shift A, Mesh, come up to where it says cylinder, and this time we are going to keep this on 32. I recommend doing that, and the reason is because I've looked and I've saw how we can split this door up into wooden panels, and 32 seems to fit it very well. So now let's spin it round with R and X and 90, so it's facing the correct way, and then let's bring it up and back. And basically you've got to imagine that this is a door, and how is this piece of glass, stained glass, going to fit within our door? And you can see at the moment this is way too big, so we need to bring out our door a bit, pull it back, and now just visualize, I'm going to pull it down a little bit like so, how this is going to sit within the actual door. And I think I need to move them both up a little bit, so I'm going to press 1, I'm going to bring them up, and the reason I'm going to do that is because I also need to think about where are these wooden panels going to come down to, and I think somewhere around here should be absolutely fine. So somewhere like here. Now, once you're happy with it and you're happy with the size, so you can imagine the wooden panels going down here, and then you've got the archway as the reference that you can download with the course, shows you. You've got the kind of rock arch going around here. So just make sure, like I say, that you're happy with this. Now, next thing I want to do is I want to actually delete these faces and the back. So all you need to do, you can come to the back face, click on it, press Ctrl and plus on the number pad, and then that will increase the selection. You can also press Ctrl and minus, and that will decrease the selection. Now let's delete these. So we're going to press delete, faces, and that's going to get rid of all those. Next thing I want to do is I need to cut this away. So at the moment, I don't want a fully round door because obviously it wouldn't open very well. You can have a fully round one if you want, but I prefer actually to be a bottom on the door as again in the reference. You'll also see here that you can see the mesh from the glass and from the actual door frame, and I don't really want that. It's just because I've got both of them selected. So let me just select the actual door frame. I'm going to press 1 again just to make sure I'm happy with it. I'm going to press tab. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete this face. So I'm going to press delete, and I'm going to come down to only faces, and now I should be left with this. Now let's refill this in, but I want to refill it in a way that makes it so that I can actually make the wooden panels. So what I'm going to do that is I'm going to press Alt, Shift and click just to grab them all, and then I'm going to minus off the 2 on each side of the edges like so, and then you're going to click right click and then come up to where it says bridge edge loops. And this then is going to bridge all the edge loops opposite each other. You actually need to leave a gap in between this side and this side to actually use bridge edge loops. But you can see now that we've actually got the panels for our doors. All we need to do is just fill in these parts here. Okay, so let's fill these in. So we'll come to this one first. Now what we're going to do is just grab each of these edges and press the F button, and that's just going to fill it in for us. Now let's come to the other side and do exactly the same thing. So F, and there we go. All right, so this looks a good start to our door. Next, what I want to do is I want to cut this piece across here along this red line pretty much. And the reason is, as I say, I want this door to actually have a bottom on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press A, I'm going to grab everything, I'm going to come up to this mesh button here, come down, and you'll have one that says bisect. And what you need to do now is with the bisect, once you've actually clicked that on, it's actually ready to go. So you won't be able to zoom round or anything like that until you've actually used it. So just make sure you're in the position that you want to be before you use it. Now let's come in. I'm going to come to this red line. I'm going to drag across to the other side like so, and you'll notice an actual cut appears. Next thing you want to do is come down to where this menu is. So just open this menu, and you'll see here that this plane axis X, that should be this axis going across there. If I click on there, you'll see it's at 0.010. So I'm going to click on it and just set this to 0. And what that's going to do is it's going to level it up perfectly along this x-axis. You can also pull it up now and actually make the cut in a different place. And I'll show you how we cut it. So now we've got it in the perfect place. All we do is we come down, and it'll either be the clear inner or clear outer. So if we click this one up, you'll see that it cuts it away in a really, really nice way. And the reason why we set this to 0 is to make sure it's perfectly flat. You can also clear the outer if you wanted as well. So let's just clear the inner like so. Now, once you've done that, just make sure you're happy with it. You can move around now you've actually made the cut. You can still move it up and down. I'm going to leave it like that. I'm pretty happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is work on this actual stone arch that's going around here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of the sides going around. So I'm going to press Alt, Shift and click. And then I'm going to come to this one, press Shift click, Control click, come to this side, Shift click, Control click. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to duplicate just this edge going around, and that's going to give me then something to actually work with. So if I press Shift D and just press Enter and then pull this out, you'll see that you've duplicated just this edge away from this actual wooden door. Now let's press P to separate it out. So P, selection, and then what we're going to do is we're going to press Tab and then click back on this edge here, and now it's completely separated out from the actual door. Next, what I want to do is I just want to reset the orientation just in case I want to move this. So Control A, all transforms, right click, set origin to geometry. Now on the next one, what we're going to do is we're going to work on bringing this out, extruding it out, and we're going to use some modifiers to actually make this the correct look that we're looking for. Okay everyone, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot, bye bye.